Hello, my name's John. In this box is one of my many collections, and it has quite an interesting film connection. You're watching Wargames, models, and other hobbies. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I want to show you something non-miniature related that is one of my collections and talk about where it originated from, where I decided to start collecting these items. So let's just open up this box, and inside we have a selection of camera lenses. To be specific, they are Pentax 110 lenses. Now, I came across these lenses when I was looking for a specific item from a film franchise that I really like, and I went down the rabbit hole and I ended up collecting all of the lenses. I have also got some converters because I run them on my digital camera. So let's jump in and I'm going to show you the lenses and then we'll talk about the specific one that got me into this collection. So the Pentax 110 was a small SLR camera. Recently I've picked up the last few bits for my lens collection. This little manual that talks through how all the lenses work and the best way to get photos out of them was in one of my last purchases, and I'm really happy that I've got hold of this. I do have along the bottom here all of the different lens filters, so I can learn a little bit about photography, which I don't know too much about, and see what these filters do. Let's go through the lenses and we'll take a look at that one with a film connection. So the first one we've got here is, if I take off the lens cap, the 70mm lens. So this has a slight focal adjustment. Let me just take the back plate off. You'll see that it's quite a small attachment. The whole camera was a very small camera, but this lens gives a really nice look on more modern cameras, and I have played around with a few photos with this one, but I look forward to doing a few more. Let's just put that back in. The other larger lens for this kit is the 20 to 40mm lens, and this one actually, if I pull it out, has a extendable zoom to go through from 20, 24, 30 to 40mm. But really nice feeling to these lenses. It was quite by accident that I started to come across these, as I said, and when I discovered these lenses I kind of felt like I needed to collect them. Here we have the little 50mm, again that same connection on the back there, and as I said, I'm not an expert in photography, but I do want to learn the process and I want to play around with these lenses, and I was thinking it'd be quite nice to take a few pictures of some of my painted miniatures, film some of them as well, with these lenses to see the different effects and finishes. Now this little lens is the stock lens of the camera, and that is the 24mm lens, again with a small change, let's get that in focus, a small change in the focal distance. Now this lens just here is the one that got me into this collection, so we'll have a look at that last. But this is the most recent one I bought, which I didn't realise existed until I got hold of this little brochure a few weeks ago. And this is a pan focus lens, so it doesn't zoom or change its focal distance. It is just a standard lens, That is an 18mm pan focus lens. Now I have, with these lenses, played around with these spacers, and they become really good macro lenses, so really zooming in. And some of them have a focal distance of about 3 to 5 mil, so you can get a really blown up image, which is really interesting. But now moving on to the lens that got me into this, and this is the lens. It is a Pentax 18mm lens for the 110 SLR camera. Now, some people might recognize this lens from some quick shots in a certain film. I'll put it up on screen. This is the lens used for the helmet cams in Aliens. So there are a few little differences with this lens to what you see on camera. What I'll do, let me put a still up on the screen and rotate this to be in the right sort of direction. So what they've done is taken out the Ashai text on that side, and then the Japan and Pentax, but left everything else in there. But yeah, in researching Aliens, I have quite a few other different props that I've discovered from the film. I discovered this lens and what it was actually used for. You can still find them appearing on eBay now and again, but they have started to get quite expensive. Now, something I do have, just put the lens cap back on there, is a casting from a garage kit that I've got of the flamethrower from Aliens. You can see it has a casting of the lens. What I hope to do, and if you want to see this in a future video, please let me know, is clean this up so I can mount an 18mm lens into this and complete this prop. As well as this casting, I do have an alternate casting that I got my hands on quite a few years ago. You can see this one is a much cleaner, rounder casting, and this one's from a mould that got damaged and it's a little bit oval, but to all intents and purposes they're basically the same. But I do want to complete this kit, and with that in mind I won't be using that 18mm lens. I do have another one I managed to get my hands on, and that will be the one that I mount into this to complete this prop. Now, if you'd like to see that as a video, please drop it in the comments, and if you'd like to see any of my other objects that I found that were props in Aliens, also drop it in the comments. I'd be happy to do so. But for now, that's it, showing you my little lens collection and the origin because of this 18mm lens. If you want to see a video on me using these to take pictures of miniatures, as with the other ones, drop it in the comments. I hope you found this video interesting. I just wanted to share something slightly different today. But for now, all I can say is thank you so much for tuning in. My name's John, and you've been watching Wargames, Models, and Other Hobbies.